And so we took a chart, basically a circle, and again, we're in the center of the circle. And this line here is the horizon. At sunrise, the sun would be here. At noon, or at the point where the sun is the highest, it would be here. At sunset, the sun would be here. And when the sun's at the lowest point, it would be here. So we would have the sun going around the chart. The ancients divided the circle into 12 pie pieces, which they call houses. And so houses were these sections of sky. Now, what determines what a section of sky is based on a house system. That's a little bit more complex. There are many different house systems. There are some really popular ones right now, Koch, Placidus, Regimentanus. There's also equal houses, 0-degree houses, also called whole sign houses. So lots of different systems. That's actually not so important now. What's more important is to recognize that the different sections of sky represented different areas of your life. This is similar to the idea of the tarot. So the tarot cards, you may have just 3 cards, but what we could say is everything in position 1 represents the past, everything in position 2 represents the present, everything in position 3 represents the future. And so it would mean something different if this card was in the future, meaning success in the future, versus it in the placement of the past, where it would mean success in the past. Okay. Back to the chart. We have different houses, and so these represent different areas of life, and this house, which is considered the second house, is the house of money. So the houses are numbered in this order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And so the first house is yourself, the second house is money. Therefore, if the sun was up here in the sky, which would put it in your chart here, then it wouldn't actually be in your house of money. If at the time you were born, the sun was just rising, it was just on the horizon, it's sunrise, the sun would be here. So in your 12th house. Or if the sun had just set, then the sun would be here in your 6th house. Now, the thing that divides the houses is called the cusp. The cusp has a sign on it, and this sign indicates what planet rules that house. So even though you have the sun perhaps in your second house, which does indicate that your sense of identity, your sense of self is really tied up into how much money you make, you might have, for example, Gemini on the second house cusp, which means that Mercury rules your second house. And Mercury may be in the second house, it might be in your 3rd house, it could be in your 1st house. And so we would say that Mercury rules your second house, or we would say the ruler of your second house, Mercury, is in your 1st house. Now, this is very important when you're figuring out your sources of money, because the ruler of the second house is bringing you money. So whereas you may feel, oh, I'm so happy because I have sun in the second house, and then think, why is money not flowing? Well, this could be that perhaps you have the ruler, let's say Capricorn, on your second house, ruled by Saturn in your 12th house. And so the 12th house, this house that is considered the hidden house, at least from you, says to you, I just cannot figure out how to make money. And then, of course, there is an answer that money comes through spiritual growth. Money comes through spiritual actions, such as maybe working in a spiritual field, or perhaps you work for a large company, but you work behind the scenes, or perhaps you work in something medical where people are confined, like intensive care or some drug treatment, alcohol place, or maybe you work in something where there is this element of magic to it, like film or television or things like that. But if you were just wanting to say, I don't know, sell houses or something, and you have Capricorn on the second house, even though you have the sun in the second, you're going to struggle if your Saturn's in the 12th, because there's just a disconnect between how you're thinking you should make money and how you actually do make money. So let me give you another example. Let's say you have Sagittarius on that second house cusp. And then we're going to look for where Jupiter is. And perhaps you have Jupiter in the 5th house. Now, your source of money, it could be gambling, could be creative work, could be something where you're working with children, or you're doing something where you are helping couples get together in romance and things like that. But your family says that you should be an accountant. And so, again, you're struggling to make the money because your literal source of money, which is Jupiter, is being blocked because you keep trying to do something that is not necessarily the creative, fun thing that you want to do. And why would that be? Well, it's possible that the sun that's sitting here in your second house is not in Sagittarius, but it's in Capricorn. And so your sun is very serious. Your sun says, oh, I have to do something that really guarantees me making a living. And so therefore you struggle with it. Now, of course, in the course, how to find the hidden money in your chart, I talk a lot about the ruler of the planets on the cusp of the second house, 8th house, and 11th house, and how those come together to bring you more opportunities to accumulate money. So, but I just wanted in this little quick video to show you what I mean by a house, which is these triangular pieces, a house cusp, a sign on the cusp, and then the ruler of that sign. So just because a person has no planets, for example, in the second house would not impede their ability to make money. A person with no planets in the second house can make a lot of money, depending on what's on the second house cusp and who rules that second house and what that planet does in their chart. Again, for example, if you had Sagittarius on that second house with Jupiter in the 5th house, but it was making a difficult aspect to your sun in the 12th. So the Jupiter in the 5th is saying, yeah, go out there and be bold and be big. But the sun in the 12th wants to hang back and work behind the scenes. And if these two planets are talking to each other, the sun is actually impeding Jupiter's ability to bring in the money. And so you can see it may not be a quick answer, but it can be a very detailed answer of what to do to create more money in your life. And so that's it. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment in the comment section below. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you like videos like this, leave me a thumbs up because it really helps out the channel. And I will see you in the next video.